I rise in support of HRES 153, expressing condolences to families, friends, and loved ones of the victims of the plane crash of American Eagle Flight 5342 and U.S. Army call sign PAT 25, and for other purposes introduced by my colleagues from Kansas, Representatives Ron Estes and Tracy Mann. I'd like to thank both Congressman Estes and Congressman Mann for their leadership on this matter, as well as the leadership and cooperation of the entire Kansas congressional delegation. The last couple of months have been heartbreaking and trying. It has been a hard time for our country and the U.S. aviation system. There have been numerous accidents, with the Potomac DCA mid-air collision being among the most tragic. At approximately 8:52 p.m. on January 29, 2025, American Airlines Flight 5342, flying from Wichita, Kansas to Ronald Reagan National Airport, collided with UH-60 Army Black Hawk helicopter PAT 25 while on final approach to runway 33 at DCA, resulting in both aircraft crashing over the Potomac River. There were no survivors. 67 innocent lives were lost, 60 passengers, 4 flight crew, and 3 Army soldiers. There's no one in my home state who hasn't been deeply affected by this tragedy. Kansas is known as the air capital of the world, a place where aviation is not just an industry, but a way of life. The passengers on Flight 5342 were our neighbors, our coworkers, and our loved ones. We are forever grateful for the more than 300 first responders who arrived almost immediately on the scene to try to rescue survivors. Responding parties initially included Washington, D.C. Fire and Emergency Medical Services, the Metropolitan Police Department, Virginia State and Municipal Police Departments, and multiple federal agencies, including the NTSB, FBI, and U.S. Coast Guard. Sadly, this and other events stand as a stark reminder of the complexities of the national airspace system, and that we shouldn't take the precious few moments with loved ones for granted. We must investigate this accident thoroughly to prevent this event from ever happening again, and ensure that aviation safety always remains a top priority. With regard to the investigation, we are grateful to the NTSB personnel who are actively supporting the victims' families through the agency's Family Assistance Program. Family assistance is a critical function of the NTSB and invaluable to those mourning the loss of one or more of their loved ones. In times of tragedy, it can be difficult to sort through the torrent of emotions: sadness, rage, loneliness, and regret. And while counseling cannot bring back the loved ones lost, it can help survivors process the storm and maybe just a little bit blunt some of the pain. The NTSB is also leading the accident investigation itself. The agency deployed over 40 investigators alongside the Coast Guard, FBI, dive teams, and the Army Corps of Engineers to aid in the recovery and analysis. Aside from the wreckage of both aircraft and the personal effects of the victims, the agency has recovered the recording devices from both aircraft and are being analyzed by NTSB experts. This effort also extended far beyond the NTSB's personnel. Hundreds of government employees are supporting this investigative mission, including employees from the FAA, FBI, and Department of Transportation. As a member of Congress and as a citizen who cares deeply for U.S. aviation, I'm proud of those public servants and grateful for their sense of duty and sacrifice. Even though we all want answers, we must resist the urge to speculate on the causes of aviation accidents and allow the NTSB to complete its work. Aviation safety is dependent on a stable operating environment and technical analysis. And I, for one, would like to trust the experts as they continue their mission to make the skies safer. But when the final report comes out and the time comes to act, I hope that this body remembers this moment. We must do everything in our power, working across the aisle, to prevent this from ever happening again. In the meantime, let us come together in expressing our deepest condolences and pass this resolution. Our thoughts and prayers remain with the passengers, crew, their loved ones, and first responders. I reserve the balance of my time.